So good morning team. Welcome to Linux AWS Devop batch. So today we are starting EC2 instance type example. Yesterday we have seen different type like storage type, right? We have seen storage optimize, then memory optimize, then compute optimize. Let me summarize that few example of instance EC2 type, right? What we have seen under instance type, right? We have we have T2.micro. This is one of the example. T2.micro. This is how many CPU? It is having one CPU. Then what is the memory in gigabytes? One. This is EBS storage. No need to worry. This is one term. Okay. This is one service. EBS. We have to see. Right? EBS electric. Okay. We will see that. Okay. One word will come. You will understand. So its performance like how low to moderate. Okay. This is general purpose only. Okay, T2 run micro. Then we have T2, there are so many, like as we seen yesterday. T2X large. How many CPU it is providing? It is providing how many CPU? 4 CPU, right? Similarly, what is the memory it is providing? It is providing 16 GB. Okay. What is the storage? It is providing EBS only, right? It is providing only EBS only, right? Then what is the performance? Now it is not low, it is moderate. Okay. Then next is next is C5 C5D dot 4x large. 4x large. How many CPU it is giving? It is giving 16 CPU. Means core CPU, right? 16 core CPU. And how many memory it is giving? 32 GB. Okay. Now it is providing one storage, that is 1x400 time NVMe SSD. Okay. NVMe SSD. So this is example. This is example, right? This is example of this. One of the example of this storage. So what is the performance? It is giving performance up to what? Up to 10 Gbps. You know, right? This term 10 Gbps, 5 Mbps, and like this. And what is the EBS bandwidth in Mbps? It is giving 4750. No need to remember these words. It is just kind of summary I am giving what we have seen yesterday. Okay. What we have seen yesterday, right? These are few example. Okay. Now, right? Now see, apart from this, we have one security group. Apart from this, we have security group. We will see that what is security group. EC2 is not yet completed. EC2 is under EC2 only. Under EC2 only we have. Under EC2 only we have. Under EC2 only we have. If you see EC2, we are having so many things. Instance type, launch template, spot request, saving plans, right? Then we have reserved instance, dedicated host, capacity reservation. All these things we are going to see. What is AMI catalog, right? What is volume, EBS, elastic bin block store, then snapshot. All these things we are going to see. Okay. Network and security group, elastic IP, placement group, key pairs, load balancing. What are the type of load balancing, auto scaling? All this we are going to see under EC2. So we will start with what is security group, right? We are seeing, right? When we created one EC2 instance, when we create one EC2 instance, this is instance, right? We created today. This is the EC2 instance we created today. Now let me go inside this EC2 instance. So see, this is the information of this instance, right? Instance ID, public IP4 address, private IP address, host name, elastic IP, then VPC. By default, always a VPC created. This is a very good concept, VPC, virtual private cloud. And what is subnet, right? This is created, right? This is by default, it is creating one VPC is attached to it. One subnet ID is attached to him, right? In projects in real time, we are creating one virtual private cloud so that for security and privacy purpose, right? right? Here downside details status, alarm, monitoring and security. If I will go here, you can see, right, security details, right? Inbound rule, outbound rule. This is what we need to understand. What is this inbound rule and outbound rule? This is the part of security group. Okay, now try to understand what is security group. Security groups. Okay. Now, what is security groups? Security group is kind of network security in AWS. It is kind of network security in AWS. Okay. Now, what is mean by that? So, this security group, SG, security group, it control traffic. SG control what? Traffic. Traffic. In and out. In and out. This is important. In and out. Something coming to our server, something going out of our server. Right? When something coming in our server, it is called in. Into our server. Okay. Something going means traffic is going outside our EC2 instance, right? In and out of our EC2 instance. Hope you are understanding. Let me explain you diagrammatically. Okay. Now, for example, okay. Now, this give the exact symbols. That's why I'm using this. Let's say this is your EC2. Okay. This is your EC2 server, right? EC2 content, right? Now what is happen is your EC2 server is there. Okay. Now what is happening? Yeah, fine, no problem. EC2 server is there, right? So what will happen here? What will happen? We are we are attaching one security group to it. We are creating one security group to it, right? What does the security group will do? What does the security group will do? Okay. It is little bit slow. Let me do in paint itself. Fine. So let's say this is your EC2 instance, right? This is your EC2 instance, right? Here in AWS, you have created one EC2 instance inside this. Now, you have created one EC2 inside EC2 instance. What is this is EC2 instance you have created, right? And what you did is you attach one security group. You are attaching what? One security group. Security group you are attaching here. Okay. Now, security group you are attaching. Okay. Now, what is happening with this is acting as a firewall, guys. This is acting as a, for example, I ping one URL to you. What you are doing? You are sitting somewhere else, na? You are sitting somewhere else. You are sitting somewhere else. What you are trying to do? You are trying to access this IP address, right? You are trying to access this IP address. You are trying to access this IP address over the network, right? Over the network. You are the user, na? You are hitting the URL. You are the user. So what is happening when you are trying to access this? So this security group will act as a firewall. Okay, whether it will check whether you are allowed or not, whether you are allowed or not. So here instance, now this is the instance we have created. This is the instance we have created. For this instance, this is the IP address, right? You are trying to access. How you are trying to access? There are two things. One is inbound role. What is outbound role? Inbound rule means something we are defining, and right? Inbound, something traffic will come inside. Traffic means you are requesting na to access the server. So that is something can be defined by using inbound rule. Inbound rule, right? Inbound rule. Now, what will happen? Who can access, right? So that is the question, right? Who can access? So we have, right, see different port number, right? TCP, port range 80, 443, 22, right? Right. So we need to understand how we can define this inbound rule and what is outbound rule. Outbound rule means, for example, tomorrow you have this EC2 instance, you have EC2 instance, and your application is there, right? Let's say Flipkart application is launched inside this server. So now there is one more server na in AWS cloud. Let's say there is a bank application. Okay, let's say there is a bank application. Okay, let's say this is SBI or HDFC or ICICI bank application. This is SBI bank application or HDFC bank application. Okay, this is into different cloud. This is one cloud. This is another cloud. Right? Now what happened? Your application is interacting with bank application. Na? This application will interact with bank application. Na? Right? So to go from your server to bank server, you have to define now who can raise the request. So that you have to define in outbound rule. That you have to define in outbound rule. Hope you are understanding. Inbound rule means something coming to your server, those rules you are defining. Who can enter your server, right? Similarly, what is outbound rule? For example, you are purchasing one shirt or mobile, then you are doing some payment from your application. So this request will go to whom, whatever bank you are selecting. Tomorrow you are selecting SDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, any bank. Then the request will go to that bank, na. So it is allowed or not, it will be defined under whom outbound rule, right? So there are IP address. See, this is the IP address na, in inbound rule. You are trying to enter into this EC2 server. If we delete that security group rule, then you won't be entered. So this is what security group comes into picture. Security group is acting as a firewall, right? Now, so now what does this contain actually? So security group contains only only rules to allow or reject traffic, traffic, right? This is the important thing. Now, this is simple thing, but we will try to understand slowly what kind of protocols it is following, right? So basically, it is it is acting as an firewall on what EC2 instance, right? This is the firewall. Now, what they are controlling? What is they are controlling? SG is controlling what? SG is controlling on top of which you are applying the rule. SG is controlling ports. SG is controlling ports, right? SG is controlling what? IP range. IP range. It controlling IP ranges. IP ranges from where IP V4 to IPv6. What is IPv4, IPv6? VC slowly, no need to worry. Whatever the terms is can be, our topic is SG. We are not bothering about IP address. One IP address will come, we will see what are IP address. IP address just you can understand address, right? Your laptop is having IP address. Another laptop is having network is having IP address, right? Right. So what it control? It control inbound rules. It will control. It will control outbound rule. So this is the what security group is doing, right? This is a simple thing, right? Inbound rules means from other to our instance. You can say from our other to from outside to our EC2 instance, right? Similarly, you can say what is outbound rule from our EC2 instance, from our EC2 instance, our EC2 instance to other. Okay, so this is what basic definition of security group. So now let me show you one diagram also. Try to observe. Now we have different type of protocol, like we have HTTP, we have SSH, right? Then we have custom TCP, custom TCP protocol. Okay. Now, these are the three. Okay. Now what is type? This is the protocol. Then what is the range for this? What is the range? And what is the source? Source means we have to understand what is source means. IP address, CIDR range is there. What is CIDR range? You will see that. Okay. So HTTP protocol. HTTP protocol. Okay. What is the type of protocol for HTTP? This is TCP protocol. And what is the range? Port number, port range. This is the port range 80. And what is the source? 0.0.0.0/0. Okay. Now, coming to SSH, same protocol it is also following TCP, right? Now, what is the port? Always, this is the port. For example, whenever we are creating any server, always this SSH will be on the port number 22. Okay. HTTP request will be on port number 80. Okay. Okay. You need to understand. Then you will better have a good idea. Then 149, any IP address. Okay. Let's say. Right now, custom TCP protocol, custom and TCP protocol. This is also following TCP protocol. TCP protocol. What is the port number 4567? So this is the port number 4567 where this is working. Okay. Source is what? 0.0.0.0/0. Basically, this is the protocol. And this is the type. When you are closing this port, nobody can SSH. What does it mean by SSH? You want to enter your server. You want to enter your server using SSH. What do you mean by SSH? We'll see that practically. So whenever you are doing SSH, you want to connect your Linux server. So this port number should be open. If you are doing HTTP request, this port number should be open. Otherwise, you won't be able to do that. Okay. We will see everything practically. Otherwise, no, you cannot understand. Right now, try to observe. Try to observe. This is your one EC2 instance. Try to understand. This is your EC2 instance. Okay. This is your EC2 instance you created. We created not just now one server we have created, right? And that server is having IP address, right? What is the server is having IP address? What is the server IP address? This is the server IP address. Now, let me copy this. Let me copy this. This is the IP address we created. See, you can see, right? IPv4 address. We will see what is IPv4, IPv6, right? We will see that. Okay. For now, you know this is the address of IP address. Now, what is happened? One security group is attached. One security group is attached. Right? One security group is attached. Right? This is inbound rule. This security group is defined for what? Inbound rule. This is your security group. This is your security group, right? Which is, let's say, this is group number 1. Okay. Here we are defining what? In this group, only inbound rules we are defining. Okay. So inside that, what we are defining? IP and port now. Which IP we are opening, which port is opening. Only those IP and port will be allowed. Now just think, you are having a different computer. You are having different computer. This is another computer, right? And we are authorizing only port number 22. Let's say this is your computer. This is your computer. Okay. This is your computer with some IP address. With some IP address, right? What is the IP address? Just think, let's say xx dot xx dot xx dot xx. This is your IP address. Okay. But it is allowed, this, whatever the IP address is there, we are allowing for that particular range, authorized port number is 22. Authorized port number is 22. Okay. And similarly, this is other computer. This is other computer. Right? This is another computer. Okay. This is other computer. Let's say this is other computer. Right? And but this is not authorized. This is not authorized. I am saying, focus guys, this is not authorized. Okay. Above one is authorized, the below one is not authorized. What will happen? So whenever you are from this computer, whenever from you are from this computer trying to access this, what will happen? You will see that. What will happen? Whenever request you are requesting, this request will be allowed. This request will be allowed. This is entered. What happened to this server? This is not allowed. This is not allowed. This will be blocked because this is not authorized. This will be allowed. This will be allowed. This will be allowed. But this is not allowed. This is a simple use case, right? Right? I mean, whatever this computer, this IP address is allowed for this port number. So whenever you are trying to do some access, it is allowed and it can, this security group will allow. But what happen at the same time, another computer is there. It is not authorized. So it will first, it has to enter the security group now. So it won't allow to enter this. It will reject it. So this is the benefit of security group. Similarly, we have inbound rule. Similarly, we have outbound rule also. Na? We have security group, outbound rule. So we have security group, we have security group, same security group, one. But this time, instead of outbound, instead of inbound, what we are having, we have inbound rule, right? What we are defining in security group, what IP address we can allow, what are the port is allowed, right? And let's say you are trying to access some other application. You are trying to access some other application. What is this application? Let's say www.hdfc netbanking, something, netbanking.com. It means you are trying to access from your server. This time, if this is authorized, it is authorized, this in this security outbound group, it is allowed that it should go to this particular bank, then what will happen? From whatever from your server the request is going, it is allowed to enter here, na? It is allowed to enter here. Similarly, this bank is in different server, so it should also allow your request. This request is coming from where your request was entering into SDFC bank, na? So bank should also allow. There should be agreement between our application and their application. Then only will be allowed, right? Similar, for example, this is security group inbound rule for our instance, our server. Similarly, this is security group outbound rule for our server. So this bank server will also have security group na inbound and outbound rule. If they are not allowing, so how we can enter, right? So both side it should be there. Both side it should be there. Otherwise, you won't be able to enter. Hope you are understanding, guys. Hope you are understanding. We have seen basic of what is EC2. Hope you are understanding the basic of EC2. What is the security group, right? Now we will start with Linux. Once we will complete our Linux, okay, slowly again we will start the main features of EC2. Hope you are understanding this security group port number, how it is allowing or not, right? So we will start slowly about Linux now. Why I need to introduce EC2 and security group? Because now we are using one Linux operating system, and to practice Linux command, we required one Linux machine, na? But if you don't have Linux machine in your laptop, then how we can connect to Linux operating system? How we can practice those? So to overcome that problem, we are having EC2 server. Inside EC2 server, we have created one what? We have created one Linux virtual machine. Similarly, you can also create one Linux virtual machine, na? Okay, then you can practice, right? You can practice now. Linux. Now, guys, focus. So to understand Linux, we need to understand what is the difference between Windows operating system and Linux operating system. Quickly, we will see Windows operating system. Windows operating system. So Windows operating system, what is that? It is provided by whom? It is provided by Microsoft. It is provided by Microsoft company, right? This is provided by Microsoft company. Then next is what? Right? It is a paid software. It is a paid software, right? You have to pay something na while license, then only you can install in your machine. It is what? Single user. It is single user. It is single user. It is single user base. Means you have one laptop, you have to buy one license, and you can only use in one laptop. Can you use in 10 laptop? No. That is what? It is single user, right? It can run multiple application. It can run multiple application, right? It can run multiple application. What kind of multiple application? Right? At the same time, I'm using Notepad. I'm using Zoom machine. I can listen the music, right? This is the what run multiple application, right? Next, it is it is less secure, but it is less secure, right? It is less secure. Anyone can hack this, right? Now, this is what disadvantage of Windows operating system. Even fifth standard student know what is Windows operating system, right? Now, but what is the advantage? It is giving a beautiful UI. It is giving beautiful UI, user interface. Means, for example, I can see, right? This is my screen, right? This is how I can click here. Any software, right? I can navigate to here, right? This is D drive, this is E drive, this is C drive. I can go here, right? It is giving beautiful UI. So this is what it is giving, right? This is the benefit of This is the benefit of what? Windows operating system. Now, coming to Linux, right? Now we need to understand what is Linux operating system. Linux operating system. So Linux is what? Linux is what? Linux is free and open source. Linux is free and open source. Okay. What is mean by open source? What is mean by open source? The source code is available. We can utilize and we can change the source code and we can create our own Linux operating system. That is why I am saying Linux is having different flavor. You have seen, right? Amazon Linux, Ubuntu. Whenever we are launching the instance, that time it is showing, na? That time it is showing. Whenever we are launching instance, whenever we are launching instance, see, it will give different operating system image. Linux, Amazon, Linux provided by AWS, Ubuntu, right? Red Hat, SUSE Linux, right? Different types of Linux flavor is there, right? What they did, they take the source code of original Linux, they change the code according to their convenient, and they launch into market by their name, right? So what is the anyone can take the Linux operating system source code and customize it. What they can do, customize it according to their need. Okay. So one more thing. Windows is single user, but Linux is multi-user. Multi-user. Okay. If we are creating multi Linux operating system at a time, we can create a we can access multiple people can access. Linux is multi-user, mean multi-user based operating system. Multiple people can interact with that Linux server, right? It is very secure as compared to Windows, right? And it is community based. It is community based. It is community based. Means what? There is a community of Linux operating system. So whatever the issues we are facing, we can ask that community, they will respond, right? They can respond to our issues. Okay. Now, now guys. Now, coming to operating system. Okay. Now, now. The first operating system come into market in which year? Come into market in the year 1956. In the year 1956. Okay. In the year 1956. Now, General Motor was the company. What was the company name? General Motor. General Motor Lab was the first company who implemented this first operating system, and for which this is the lab. General Motor is the lab, and for whom they developed the IBM. General Motor is lab. General Motor Lab implemented implemented Linux, sorry, operating system for the company IBM. Okay. Now next is, so in 1969, the first version of what? Unix operating system came into market. In which year? In Nobody is going to ask you this question. Okay. 1969, the first version of the the first version of Linux, or we can say Unix, Linux, both same. Unix operating system come into market. By whom? By Thomson Ken or Ken Thompson. Ken Thompson. Okay, Ken Thompson is the first person who provided this Unix operating system in 1969. Now next is Microsoft releases the first operating system in 1981. That is MS-DOS. You know, right? MS-DOS. So these are the basic thing. But what happened? What happened? The Linux, right? Linux. So Linux, basically there was a student, right? Like you and me, right? So there was a person called, his name was Linus, right? Linus Torvalds. This is the person named Linus Torvald, right? So what he did, he made the changes. Linus Torvald made the changes, made the changes in existing operating system. Who did the changes? Linus Torvalds. Linus Torvald, and he released the market. And he released the market, and then release the new one in the market, right? So how the Linux name came into the picture, right? He took the name Unix plus Linus. Linus. He took his name Linus, and what he changed? Unix. So he took two words. First two word from his name, right? Li. He took his name Li plus Nix from this operating system. Linux. Interesting, right? And he give the name Linux. Okay. Now he gives the name Linux. So this is the story behind this operating system. Now there are different company. There are different company who are using this, who have launched their own Linux operating system. RHEL. Which company give? Red Hat. Right. Then CentOS. CentOS. Then this is community based. This is community based. Okay. Now Ubuntu. Wait, I'm having cold. This is also community based. This is also community based, right? This is also community based. Then open use. Open use. This is also one more thing which is provided by Microsoft. Nobody is going to ask you this theory, okay? But you should know now. Otherwise, how we will understand. Now guys, you know how to create EC2 server, right? You know how to create EC2 server. We created one EC2 server, right? Let me go to EC2 server, right? This is the instance we have created, right? We have created. This is Linux operating system. I want to connect. How I can connect? Click on connect, right? EC2 server. There are different way. EC2 instance connect, session manager, SSH client, EC2 serial console, right? But first option we will try EC2 instance connect. How I can connect? Click on connect. Now it is connecting. Now it is connecting, right? There are a lot of things like Linux architecture, Linux file system, right? Everything is there. So this is how we are connected, right? This is why we have started with EC2 server first, because to practice Linux command, we need all this server, Linux operating system. But if we don't have Linux operating system, how we can practice? You don't have most of the people using Windows, because Windows is very easy. But now we have created one Linux operating system. What is the flavor? Amazon Linux machine, right? Can we try some command? PWD. Can we try PWD? It is showing PWD. What is the output? Home slash EC2 user. This is showing PWD means present working directory. What is the command? PWD. What does it mean by it? Present working directory. Present working directory. The next is, can we change the directory? Can we change the directory? CD. CD enter. See, it is not changed. CD dot dot. See, CD dot dot. Right? It is going to home. It is going to home. See, what is the symbol? Tilde symbol is there. Still tilde symbol is there. When I use CD dot dot, tilde enter into home. This is the present working directory, na? This is present working directory. Let me copy this. Let I think it's not copied. Fine. It is enter into home. It is enter into home. Can I do again PWD? Now see, it is where we are now. Earlier, when we started, when the symbol was tilde, what was the present working directory? Home slash EC2 user. Now after that, what we did? CD dot dot. CD dot dot means we go inside one step. So after tilde, what was the first directory? Home. So we entered into home. Then we are doing again checking which is the present working directory. So this time it is showing home, right? Now, what is the CD? Change directory. This is the command, right? Change directory. Change directory, right? Present working directory PWD and then CD change directory, right? So this is how we can connect to our Linux operating machine. Na? Today we are connecting which option? We are connecting this Linux Connect. This is how we are connecting Linux Connect. We need to know SSH, how we can connect to SSH, right? Connect to our server using SSH client, right? Using private key, public key, right? We have one for this server, we have created this file, right? So how we can connect using our local laptop? We need to see that in tomorrow's session, right? And same command we can run. This is your EC2 server. This is your cloud. This is your AWS. This is your AWS. Inside AWS, let's say we have EC2 server. We have created one EC2 server, right? EC2 server. Inside EC2 server, we have a Linux operating machine. And tomorrow we want to connect from your laptop. How we can connect from your laptop? We have to enter into this server, na? We have to enter into this server. How I can create using PEM file and PPK file. PEM file or PPK file by using SSH. We need to understand this, right? Outside from AWS. Whenever today what we see is this is provided by AWS. Inside AWS, we are connecting to that server. Tomorrow we want another option. We want to connect SSH client, right? Session, this options we have to use SSH client, right? Using putty WinSCP. In that case, we have to use this command, whatever instruction it is giving. We will slowly see tomorrow. Okay, I'm stopping the screen share, stopping the recording.